Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Hello and welcome to the most important meal of the day. This is the Breakfast Cafe. I am Olumide Shokoya. So glad that you have joined us this morning. Of course, I'm not the only one. I'm not flying solo. I have the ever-popping, beautiful Sarah Owusu-Ansah.
Is my name a mouthful?
Yes, it is a mouthful.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that. I feel
You
like
have to pause and actually take it one by one.
I feel like it's very simple, you know. Welcome to the program anyways. It's the midweek edition of the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact TV. I am Sarah Owusu-Ansah. And it's the 8th day in the month of January. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way, but you know, they say January is like the longest
52
month,
weeks.
right? But it feels like this particular January is going very fast. When do we
Is
just
it?
say Happy New Year and it's 1 week already? It feels like we just said Happy New Year yesterday and it's already a week, but it's fantastic to know that the year is already, you know, going very fast. Thank you for joining us once again. Welcome to the program. On the show, we take a look at banters and etiquette, newspaper review, views from the net, important conversations, trending story, weather forecast, and we get to open the phone lines in between so you can call in and, you know, share your thoughts on any issue at all. We kick off this morning with our banters and etiquette in a moment. Now this morning on our banters and etiquette, we're talking about learning from mistakes. This is very, very important. And you know, all through this week, since we started on Monday, we've been talking about the new year, things to look out for, how to get better and all of that. Now, learning from mistakes simply means it refers to the process of gaining knowledge, insight, and understanding from errors, failures, or setbacks. Now, it involves analyzing and reflecting on mistakes to identify the causes, consequences, and potential improvements, and using this information to make better decisions to take corrective actions in the future. It's, you know, it's a very important conversation here. Now, why is learning from mistake important? The first reason is because it improves decision making. Learning from mistakes helps you identify patterns and biases that lead to poor decision making. Very, very true. If you've made a mistake in time past and you have to learn from that mistake, you would understand that, okay, I shouldn't find myself in the same situation again. Also, it enhances problem solving. Mistakes provide opportunities to develop creative solutions and think outside the box. Olumide, you want to hop on?
Yes, it also fosters personal growth. Learning from mistakes promotes self-awareness, self-reflection, and of course, self-improvement. When you learn from your mistake, you help improve yourself. It builds resilience. Overcoming mistakes and setbacks helps develop coping skills and resilience. It also encourages innovations. Yes, when you learn from your mistakes, you think, because they say you cannot get the same result from doing the same thing, so you have to do something else. So it encourages innovation. Mistakes can lead to new discoveries and innovations. Now, we have different types of mistakes. Number one, unintentional mistakes. Now, careless or accidental errors. Those ones, it's not planned. It just happened like that. And, you just have to learn from it. Then you have intentional mistakes, deliberate errors or deviations from a standard. Systemic mistakes, those are errors due to flaws or weakness in a system or a process. And there's human error, mistakes due to human factors like fatigue, stress, distraction, and the rest of them. Then we have the learning process. Now, reflection, that's one of the learning process of mistakes rather. Think critically about the mistake to identify causes and areas for improvement. Analysis, you have to examine the mistake to identify patterns, trends, and root causes. Feedback, yes, you definitely need feedback. Receive information or criticism to identify areas for improvement, and of course, correction. Take action to correct. So when you get the feedback, when you've done self-reflection, when you've done every other thing, you have to put it into action. So correction, that is when you take to action to correct the mistake and prevent it from happening again. We have different strategies, of course, for learning from mistakes. Own up to your mistake. That's the first thing, because for you to be able to change, for you to be able to stop making that mistake, you have first of all have to accept that this mistake, I made it. So you have to take responsibility and acknowledge errors. That's one of the things, because nobody's perfect. Everybody, we are all human. We make mistakes normally, but you have to also own up to that. Then you have to analyze and reflect. You have to identify causes and areas for improvement. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, fine, why did I make this mistake? Is it as a result of this? So what do I need to do? What do I need to stop doing in order not to make the same mistake? Then you need to seek feedback. Ask for constructive, emphasis on the constructive criticism and feedback. Then you have to develop a growth mindset. You always must have that mindset to always grow at every stage of your life. View mistakes as opportunities for growth and development. Don't see them as weaknesses. You have to also create a safe learning environment. This is very important. You have to encourage experimentation and learning from mistakes.
Very true.
We have also common obstacles, to learning from mistakes. Fear of failure. Yes, fear of failure, fear of making mistakes can prevent experimentation and learning, because you've made this mistake, you don't want to make it again. So you're boxed. You're trying to put yourself in a box that, I don't want to try something new so that I don't end up making the same mistake. Ego and pride, yes. That's one of the things to owning up to your mistake. Ego and pride might prevent you. Refusal to acknowledge mistakes can prevent growth and improvement. Then lack of self-awareness, not knowing your true self. Failure to recognize mistakes and areas for improvement. Let's take this last one. Inadequate feedback, lack of constructive criticism and feedback. Okay, this one is also important. Insufficient reflection, failure to analyze and reflect on mistakes. I think with these few points we've made, I'm sure you have definitely learned one or two things. Learning how to stop or deflect from making mistakes is very important. Yes, human beings are not perfect.
Yeah.
We make mistakes every day, but you also have to learn to grow, and that is how we all strive for perfection.
Absolutely.
And I think that's all we can take right now, Banters and Etiquette. Stay tuned. We're going straight into the national dailies in a moment.
Something big is in town. Something powerful and majestic. A mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet, Nigeria's biggest family theme park, with facilities designed for friends, families, or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart-racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas, and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart races. Don't forget to slide into the ice rink, or simply take time out to enjoy a pizza at our delightful restaurant and dessert spot, or at the exquisite club lounge. High Impact Planet, 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo, opposite MFM Prayer City. Visit high-impactplanet.com for details and inquiries. Fun just got real.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the Breakfast Cafe, and of course this is the newspaper review segment. I, Olumide Shokoya, and of course Sarah Was are still gracing your screen this morning. We have a couple of papers to review, read out the headlines. You can also take part in the discussion by calling the phone line. You can call us, tell us what's happening in your area, or you can take part in the discussion. And later on, we'll bring in our guest who would also discuss further on the paper. So starting off with the Punch newspaper this morning, we have this bold headline saying bandits influx. Now it's bandits influx, and it's now we've come to that realization that we have an influx of bandits. Task force meets Amotekun. Police tighten southwest boundary. So now we have a joint, you know, how will I put it? So like, what I call it, intelligence or security agencies.
But we've had conversations about them having this kind of meetings before, and eventually it doesn't proceed. Like it usually ends in a deadlock. We don't see so much positive outcome come out from it. So how are we sure this particular one will be any different?
You know, I think there's this, how will I put it, unpleasant, no, I won't call it unpleasant, but there's this kind of frosty relationship between the Amotekun and security agencies. They seem to be, but Amotekun are actually doing good in the southwest if you look at some of the things they've made. So I hope that with this, they will bring about, the major thing is to eradicate, total eradication of insecurity, banditry, terrorism, and every other thing. So we have one writer to that story. It says, Oyo security chiefs held closed-door meeting in Ibadan, Ondo, Osun, and others to review strategies. And I hope this will bring about positive outcome. Beside the masthead, we have Forex, food crisis likely as northern farmers opt for export. That's not sounding good, because we have a whole lot of food crops coming in from the north, and if they are opting for export, what's going to happen to the southwest? Well,
I saw a story yesterday. I'm trying to remember the person that said it, where they said the person said it in July 2024 that the price of food items will crash in 6 months' time. The person said it on the 10th of July 2024. So a lot of people have you know, come out. Was it on the 10th or on the 8th? A lot of people now went to look for the post and tagged and said, guys, it's in 3 days' time, like referring to him that, okay, we should expect our food to crisis. So seeing this update now there's so much disparity between the reality and what was said earlier.
Well, I hope there's a picture of Yemi Cardoso there. I don't know why his face is there, but I hope this would, of course, they would definitely try and nip this in the bud. We shouldn't have food crisis at the beginning of a new year. Now we have just above the masthead, it's politics, threat to life. Atiku, Labour Party, Carpet Tinubu, APC, lampoons Peter Obi. So there's been a back and forth still on the threat to life, which Obi made announcement about. Beside that, we have forex allocations for fuel import rise to $1.25 billion. Tax reforms, northern elders and governors to maintain opposition as senators lobby. Well, the bill is still on hold. They are going back and forth, but we hope that by the time it is passed, it will favor both the northern governors who protested about this bill, and we will definitely hope that it will bring about something better. We have a picture here. The caption says, Tinubu calls for Africa's unity. Obasanjo Zuma attend Mahama's inauguration. Yeah, I like that. Below that, we have PDP differs as Okpebholo accuses local government chairs of 12 billion naira diversion. That's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Romance scam. 2 US-based Nigerians face 40-year jail term. And beside that, still on the stampede in Oyo State, Oni's ex-queen and others allege illegal detention. Oyo opposes bail. I remember we took that story yesterday.
Yeah. The way the story is going, it's not looking
sounding
really,
like a witch hunt,
really
vendetta.
Nice. Yeah, Oyo has opposed bail, so it's going to take a different route right now. And I feel very concerned and sad about the whole situation. I just hope that, like the governor said, Seyi Makinde, if he's following rule of law, he should follow it to the very last point of it. That's it.
Well, fingers crossed. I think that's all we have right now coming from the Punch newspaper this morning.
Do not forget that you can be a part of the conversation. 0812-182-0154 is the number to call. We move straight to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Disturbing major read, I must say, talking about Japa and some other factors in the health sector. And this one says, how lack of power, water, Japa degrades health sector. There are a lot of riders to that story. Exodus, shortage of health workers persist. Healthcare system faces challenges in service delivery due to accountability issues. Lack of funds for healthcare remains a big problem. Government's ability to equip hospitals, buy essential medicines and supplies, run effective public health programs remain limited. This is a very big story, I must say. You visit the hospitals these days, whether private or government-owned hospitals, and you see that there's some sort of deterioration, in their services, in their amenities, and most of our health workers are leaving the country in search for greener pastures. This is supposed to be a greener pasture. At least we say the land is green, right?
Giant of Africa.
But you can get more details. There's also power. This whole tariff hike thing has affected. You go to hospitals now, they are running on fans, they turn off lights, and you ask yourself, so if someone is admitted here overnight?
People are now complaining that the same amount of service you get from Band A is what you're getting for Band B, but you're paying more on Band A.
I don't even want to get into that, but all of that's on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Just above the masthead, over 7 million registered electricity consumers yet to be metered. That's coming from the NERC. Page 19 has the details. No state has excuse not to pay 70,000 naira minimum wage. That's from NECA. It's on page 5. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, shocker, NFF announces sacked Malian coach for Super Eagles. I want to see how this pans out eventually. Page 32 has all the details. President Tinubu approves allowances, bulletproof SUVs for retired generals. I think we took the story yesterday, and it's still on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. How corruption allegations led to suspension of local government chairman. That's coming from Monday, Okpebholo. Page 25 has the details. Gunmen abduct 46 in Zamfara community. Insecurity again. That's on page 6. We see the president, current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, exchanging a handshake in Ghana. interesting, I must say. Peter Obi, Atiku Labour Party blast APC. I didn't threaten your life. Stop telling lies. APC spokesman tells Obi. That's on page 23. I'm trying to move very quickly. Livestock development. Herders can't afford ranches. That's from Mieti Allah. Page 27 has the details. Beside our story, Tinubu at Mahama's inauguration will lift our people out of poverty.
Walk the talk.
I am looking forward to see this happen. We'll lift our people out of poverty. How?
How?
It doesn't look like it right now. That's not the current reality. So, like Olumide always say, walk the talk. They say actions speak louder than words. So let your actions speak. Let it do the talking. And lastly, on the Vanguard newspaper, Nigeria at moderate risk of HMPV. That's the human metapneumovirus.
Metapneumovirus.
That's according to the NCDC. Nigeria at moderate risk, so we have to start taking all preventive measures. But that's on page 9, Vanguard newspaper, and that's all we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, quickly, let's move on to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. It talks about another attack, Borno attack. Many soldiers missing as death toll rises. I'll take that again. Many soldiers missing as death toll rises. That's quite concerning if our military operatives are going missing at this point.
It's still over the attack that happened about 4 days ago in Borno State, and a couple of soldiers are still...
Their bodies are even missing. I mean, I want to believe that they are alive, not dead. I mean, it's quite concerning. And there's a picture here. I'm trying to get the caption. It's quite blurry here. But after that, we have this one, Abuja school bombing, cause of international interest. Case of international interest, rather. This is coming from the police. Are they insinuating, or this is a statement of fact? Because, I mean, this is quite, a mouthful, I must say. Case of international interest. Fingers crossed, but the major thing is investigations should be carried out and the culprits should be brought to book. Below that, still what Sarah read earlier, NNFF appoint Malian Chell, I hope I got that correct, as Super Eagles coach, is on page 30 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Articles men, El Rufai, Al Mustafa, and others meet SDP leaders. That sounds like a merger there. Fingers crossed. And lastly, he says, insurgency, Macron under attack, saying Africa forgot to say thank you. Quite disturbing also. But that's all we have right now coming from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Right, and the last paper I'll be taking this morning is the Guardian newspaper. And this has a very, an eye-opener, a breakdown of our top 10 equities variations as the major read. It says investors eye new listings as 10 players control 54% of NGX 63 trillion naira. There's an infographics of this. We have the top 10 equities based on a variation, and the figures are attached to them. You want to get all the details, it's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Ibadan Stampede, court to rule on bail request of Oni's ex-wife and others on the 13th of January. That's on Monday. So we see what that would pan out eventually. Page 7 has all the details of that story. Tinubu, Obi hail Ghana's democratic progress, pledge support and urge renewed African unity. News page 3 has the details to this story. The FCT's move to collect council revenue stirs protest. I'm trying to understand council revenue. To what end? What exactly would this fund be used for, be channeled into? I'm not surprised that it's stirring protest. We hope they're able to give some sort of clarity in that regard. But you want to read the story, it's on page 5, Guardian newspaper. Moving on, just beneath that, NDLEA arrests 18,500, seizes 2.6 million kg of drugs in 2024. That's quite a huge number there. Page 29 has all the details. Now, despite privatization, federal government to spend 751.7 billion naira on wires, transformers, street lights, and others. Page 6 has the details. We see the President of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, welcoming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to his second inauguration as the President of the Federal Republic of Ghana. This held on Tuesday, which was yesterday in Accra. And the last story on the Guardian newspaper, Land Use Act. Endless wait for property justice, equity 47 years on. It's on News Analysis, page 4. And that's all we have on the front pages of the papers this morning. We'll take a break. We'll be back to talk about some of these headlines with our guests. So stay with us.
Exacerbate, exacerbate, exacerbate.
Welcome back to the program. This is the newspaper review. We've taken a look at the stories on the dailies. Right now, we're joined virtually by a guest in person of Barrister Oluwatobi Fatoki. He is a legal practitioner who joins us to analyze some of the headlines this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Barrister Oluwatobi Fatoki.
You are most welcome.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year. Thanks so much.
Right.
I wish you the very best thereof.
Thank you.
To our viewers and listeners.
We wish you the same. Now, it's so fantastic that you're in Ibadan at the moment, if I'm correct. And
yes.
I would like to start off the conversation with this whole stampede that happened in Oyo State. Two questions. I know you're a legal practitioner. And yesterday we saw a video of the governor of the state, Seyi Makinde, saying that all those that were involved would go to trial. He was going to see to it that the rule of law, is followed to the end. Some people have come out to say, oh, that's not really fair. The parents should also be questioned and so many other things. First of all, I'd like to get your reaction to the situation that happened. And secondly, how would you rate the move by the Oyo State governor? And this morning we have an update that Oyo has opposed bail on this issue. Let's get your reaction to this from a legal standpoint.
Thank you very much. The Attorney General of Oyo State opposed the bail application yesterday. Yes. Well, it's a sorry case. May the souls of the departed children rest in peace.
Amen.
It was a very bad one on that day, and it's still a very bad one. But so be it. Some people must be held accountable, and there are two ways to it. You see, talking about planning events, of such a nature, there must be adequate provisions for the protection of lives and properties. And let me shift a bit to the law of torts. There is what is known as negligence. There is what is known as duty of care and occupier's liability. Something of this nature, there is a case, Tamara Egbedi, against the registered trustees of Chapel of Liberty, in which Honorable Justice Johnson Candid also gave a similar, a pronouncement in that case. And what happened? There was a kind of announcement for a crusade by Chapel of Liberty to be held at the National Stadium Surulere in that particular year. And there was this lady, Egbedi Tamara. She went for the crusade. There was an overflow. The all was filled up. She had an accident. She fell into the gutter, the drainage, and she had her teeth broken. Then she sued. And the Chapel of Liberty were like, oh, we are not the owner of the stadium. We couldn't have covered the drainage and the likes. But the court said that you bringing somebody to a facility, you have rented a facility, you owe such a person a duty of care. You are the one occupying, and that comes under occupier's liability. Now, the organizers, have they dotted their I's and have they crossed their T's? Number one, the first procedure is to seek an approval. They claimed that they sought an approval for the use of the school. They claimed that they informed the security agencies. You have asked the question that people are saying that the parents are meant to be culpable. Yes, because the parents, they are the guardian, to the children. They children, they are minors. They cannot do things by their own. They need the parents to act for them. And look at the time that this incident happened was not even up to the time that the event was meant to take place.
Exactly.
It was not yet the time for the event to have taken place. So, albeit, two things to look at. The security agencies, were they meant to have been there before the time? If it was 7 a.m. and they have given the time that 10 a.m. we are starting, they wouldn't come earlier enough than the time because they have other assignments. But under occupier's liability, you see things like this. The announcement was made through the broadcast media, that's radio station, one of the popular radio stations. People were calling, and they even say that, we can accommodate over 5,000, things like that. There are some precautionary motives that ought to have taken place even a night before. Knowing the situation of things in Nigeria, sorry to say that, we all know that, the less privileged and the gap between the rich and the poor is getting wider day by day. And seeing the outcome, the turnout, what measures were put in place a night before. You cannot lose over 35 children and keep quiet and say nobody should be held accountable. Well, it's a sorry one, but under the law of thought, I believe that there is culpability. But now, under the criminal law, charging them for the deaths, suing them for that, then the matter is still in court. One way or the other, the court will decide. But as it is for now, I think the government have taken the right decision, not just to sweep the case under the carpet and say, the children have lost their lives, and so be it. What happened to those that planned the organization? Though they gave time, they said they sought approval, but with their precautionary motive in place, even a day ahead, knowing the likely outcome of such an event. And it's a sorry case that they are still out in detention. As a journalist as well, I sympathize with the journalists, I sympathize with the organizers, because it was not their own making at all. Mm-hmm. It was not their making. Their decision was to help the needy, but it has turned this way. And I know with time, the dust being raised will subside.
We hope so. Just before Olumide, comes in, now we also have it that the defense counsel for these people have argued that detaining the clients is unconstitutional, stating that they did not go through procedure and they have cited procedural irregularities and they are challenging the court's jurisdiction. So does this hold water? Is there a particular, the incidents has happened, they've taken them into detention, is there a particular process that they should have gone through before detaining them, you know, in layman's terms, so we understand these properly?
Thank you very much. Once there is an allegation of an offense to have been committed, the next thing to do is to investigate, make arrest. The police have done that. They have made their arrest. They have done their investigation. And looking at the charge, is a capital offense in which and that was why the magistrates at the magistrate level ordered them to be remanded in custody because the magistrate does not have jurisdiction. It's the High Court that has jurisdiction. So having arrested them, they have made their statements. They have duplicated the case file to the office of the DPP. So they will look at, it is now left for the office of the DPP to now look at the plenary investigation, whether they have a case to answer or not. So that's what they are going to look at. It's not as if that, they have done nothing, they were illegally arrested, they were not. No, that was not the basis. An accident has happened, either by fault, manslaughter or what, either by default or not. The next thing is, who were those fingered to have caused this? Then we now beam the searchlight to that line and carry out a thorough investigation and see the level of their involvement in such an act. Right.
So sorry to drag on this, but taking a holistic look at this, let's bear in mind that these incidents did not just happen only in Ibadan. We had the similar incidents in Abuja as well as Anambra at about the same period. And it feels like this particular stampede in Ibadan seems to be generating dust, and that one is, you know, people are talking about it, and we're seeing detention and whatever, but we're not really hearing anything about Anambra and Abuja. Holistically, how would you say that the government, particularly the government, should handle cases like this? Considering the fact that a lot of people are saying, oh, it's hunger, people were hungry, there's hardship in the land, don't blame the people, this and that. Holistically, how would you say, moving forward, the government should manage situations like this to avoid repetition of incidents like this?
Thank you very much. The governor of Oyo State, Engineer Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, on Monday, during the prayer for the resumption of work, made a statement. He said that Oyo State is different from Anambra State, is different from Abuja. We are going to follow up this case to a logical conclusion. You see, we must look at the level of the casualties. We must look at the number of people involved. We must look at the child rights law of Oyo State. Overall, the best interest of the child, overall interest of the child. This what happened. Even those that died, they are gone. But I need to tell you this. What has happened will still affect the psychology of other children. They were present, or other children that have seen, that have heard. How do you erase that? If the government have come now and say that, oh, well, they didn't prosecute Anambra, are not prosecuting, other children will carry that up in their head forever. That's, oh, the state don't care about us. We have lost our colleagues, we have lost our mates, our peers, and oh, so this is how it happens. And we grow with that mentality, and that will even affect the state more. And secondly, holistic view on the way forward. It is a lesson to NGOs, organizers. Yes, it is a good one for NGOs to come and support, bring a succor to members, because we cannot leave everything in the hand of government. Section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution says that it is the paramount interest of government to provide welfare and security. But is it adequate in our land, in every sector? Is it adequate? This is not. Looking at education, some NGOs are giving out scholarships, are helping the needy and the likes. looking at infrastructure, looking at healthcare, looking at daily needs, palliatives and the likes. But a major lesson to be learned is taking the appropriate measures. Bearing in mind that you owe anybody that is coming to your domain that duty of care first. Who is your neighbor principal? Have you done the needful to ensure that the life of those you are inviting is secured and safe enough? So it goes beyond just organizing, planning. It goes beyond that. You must first, are there other ways I can carry out this thing, either batch by batch, view by view? So there must be measures put in place, and there must be an oversight duty of the regulatory bodies. We have the ministries of that are into this. For instance, if it's something about education, Ministry of Education, we have the Social Welfare, Women Affairs, Ministry of Youth and Sport, depending on the nature. So what is their oversight duties?
Right.
Have they even gone to look at the venue? Is it enough? Is it big enough? So all those measures must be put in place moving forward to ensure that such does not happen again. And also comparing the issue with that of Anambra, with that of Abuja and the likes. I will say this again. We should not put emotion into place. Let us look at the casualties here, those involved. We must not allow what will affect the future psychology effect of our children growing up. We should look at the casualties and those involved. They are two different and they are distinct. And well, I believe with time, everything will be all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Oluwa Tobi Fatoki. I'd like to shift your attention to the Vanguard newspaper, the bickering going on between Peter Obi and the spokesperson for the APC, Felix Moka, who Peter Obi claimed was threatening his life. Now, my question is, for instance, if I put myself in Peter Obi's shoes, someone is threatening my life, I think the first course of action would be to take a legal action. But it seems not to be going that route. He's just going here and there, shouting, they are threatening my life is a threat. Why do you think this is so? Why is he not taking or seeking legal action if really there's a threat to his life? I mean, if you take, for instance, shortly before Dele Farotimi was arrested, he also came out, he went to the police, he went to security agencies to lay a claim that there was a threat to his life. But Peter Obi seems not to be taking that route. Why is this so?
Thank you very much. If there is a threat to one's life, well, to me, it's not bad to take up a legal action, and it's what we call SOS, save our soul, and we must cry out, because saying that somebody is threatening his life is still an allegation. There must be some facts in place, and by that, it's not bad to have raised your voice out, because you cannot just keep quiet and watch things go on in a negative way and your life being cut short. So raising an SOS, writing to the IGP, writing to the security agencies to investigate such an allegation with the fact, for instance, I've been trained by a vehicle over and over, this and that, then you can say that, you have taken the right decision, but not just about screaming and making political statements or trying to bring sympathy to yourself and the likes, but taking proper steps, writing petitions, and when necessary, you can now take legal action if we have the evidence, the receipts are looked at, the fact that will speak for itself. That will be truth. My life is being threatened, either by publication, either by words, by what I've heard this person done, and I know that this person is capable of cutting my life short. Then with that, you can now proceed and say, this person is actually capable. He has done this, he has done that. And these are the facts in place that he has been threatening my life. I'm no more safe. And it's all those facts that I can now take to court. And, maybe Biden over and the likes, and the courts will do the needful, and that's it. But not just about making political statements and the likes. No,
Okay.
they are two different things.
Now, it brings me to my second question. You said that for him to be able to do this, he must have facts. So my question is, if it's just a mere statement someone made that, oh, I'll deal with you, watch your back, is that enough? Is that substantial enough to present as evidence in court?
Thank you very much. From what I said earlier, I've told you some elements. If somebody is saying, I will deal with you, watch your back. Well, it might mean two different things, depending on the person saying it. Number one, you must look at the antecedent of the person saying it. If it's somebody that cannot carry out, you must look at the antecedent of the person saying it. If it's person that this person cannot carry out the threats, it's just in mere words. And you must look at the tone being used. What kind of tone? What kind of mood? What kind of environment is this person capable of carrying this out? So to me, it might just be a mere statement. And if that statement brings apprehension of fear into the person that is being spoken to, then of a truth, then you have to fidget, and you have to know that this person, he has done similar things in the past. Maybe he has a court thugs, he has people around, he could actually carry out these traits. Then with that, there is already an apprehension of fear, and you have the right, to approach the security agencies and say, no, I'm scared this person actually meant what he has said due to this and that, and due to what I've been seeing after such a statement. But if it's just a mere statement coming from just a person that you have no issue with, coming from maybe...
Fatoke, are you there? Seems to be having a problem with the network. I was even about to ask him, this other headline we talked about, NCDC saying Nigeria at moderate risk. It might seem like mere words, but it carries a whole lot of weight. And there's sort of no awareness. People, if you go on the street now and ask people, do you know what HMPV is? You barely get people who understand what is going on. And
that's why they have called on the NOA. I remember when we had a conversation with Adeni Ifetai on Monday. The NOA, before I used to get text messages from them, right? But it's been years and nothing. So the NOA, first off, is bothered with that responsibility of orientation, telling people about it, radio stations, TV houses, magazines, newspapers, publicizing it. The Ministry of Health also has a role to play. NMA, so many bodies have roles to play in terms of awareness and safety measures. Now people, I don't even know, besides the fact that, okay, I get to read about it and maybe do some sort of research, I don't know precautionary measures to take as an individual against this. I don't know what causes this. I don't know if it is airborne. I don't know. So many things are missing. So the NCDC stating this, they have to work with the agencies that are responsible for this dissemination and containment to ensure that, we have people aware of the risk factors, the causes, method of transmission, preventive measures, how to keep themselves safe, and put in certain measures, especially in public spaces, just like we had during the COVID-19 period, so we don't start to quarantine people again, or just see that next, we don't want to wake up tomorrow and see 20 persons hospitalized over MP, whatever, in Lagos. And once it starts that way, it spreads very fast. So
I just hope we will not get to the situation where we have to close our airports, borders, and all that, because we always wait. We sort of have this, like a physical attitude sometimes, and we always wait till when it happens instead of making sure it doesn't even, happen before we take steps. But I think this is as much as we can take, though we do apologize for the network issue we had with Fatoke. But this is as much as we can take for the newspaper review. Stick around, the Breakfast Cafe continues in a moment. We'll be back shortly.
derision, derision, derision.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you peak in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. We've taken a look at the newspaper review. Quite a very robust conversation there, I must say. Major thanks once again to Barrister Oluwatobi Fatoki. Now we move to our views from the net segment. This part is quite interactive. We throw out a question and we get you to send in your comment and your contributions to the question. And the question for today is, what is one area where you feel stuck? And what's holding you back? It's like this week is a motivational week because all we've been doing from our banters and etiquette to our views from the net is how you can, you know, improve yourself this new year, things to look out for, how you can be better. But if I could ask you, what's one area you feel stuck and what do you think is holding you back in that particular area?
I can't really pinpoint right now, maybe later.
Maybe later, or you don't want to tell us. It's okay. It's okay if you don't want to tell us. Just I'd rather not disclose. Don't say you cannot pinpoint. I got you there. But let's see what people have to say. Let's kick off with Chuka. Chuka from Lekki says, I feel stuck in my career because I've been struggling to find the right opportunities that align with my skills. Fear of failure holds me back. Chuka, I think a couple of us have been here at least once. And if you've not gotten there yet, you might still get there in every sense of it, to be very real. But one of the things is discovering what exactly you want to do. And the moment you feel like, nah, this is not aligning with what I want, it's okay to rechannel, refocus and say, okay, you know what, I think I want to do. It's okay to diversify. it's okay to try out new things. You don't have to beat yourself up over it.
This next one, I think, is TT. She says, I'm stuck in my weight loss journey. It's hard to stay consistent with the routine due to my busy schedules and lack of motivation. TT from Surulere.
TT, I feel you. That's all I'm going to say. I feel you. I understand where you're coming from, but we'll get past it. Let's see Ungozi from Ikeja. Ungozi says, I feel stuck in my finances, and it's mostly because of poor money management habits and not having a clear savings plan. Ungozi, this is something that can be dealt with. I like the fact that you acknowledged you have poor money management habits, and you don't have a clear savings plan. So I always say this thing, sometimes we need accountability partners, people that we can trust, that can put us in check. Because Titi, I think Ngozi, I think what you need is somebody that can put you in check every time money. You know, there are people that they might be broke for 2 weeks, but the moment small change enter their hand like this, all the balling that they could not ball, they squander it, and then they are back to, being broke. But if you're able to plan, when you get small money, you should be able to remove something, even if it's as little as 5,000 naira, and just keep it somewhere. It will help you eventually.
This next one says, I feel stuck in my personal growth because I keep procrastinating on setting and pursuing my goals. I let fear of the unknown hold me back. Emeka from Abba. I understand that procrastination sometimes can creep in, and it can really make a mess of things, and you just keep saying, oh, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. Before you know it, a year has gone by and you've not done anything.
That procrastination thing, honestly, I wish there was a drug or a vaccine or something for it, that once you take one shot, you cannot procrastinate again, because the rate at which a lot of us are procrastinating, I can't even explain it. But let's see what Ada from Port Harcourt has to say. She says, I'm stuck in my relationship. Communication issues keep getting in the way of growth, and I don't know how to resolve them. So sorry about this, Ada. Communication is a big deal in every form of relationship. Cordial relationship, platonic relationship, romantic, any kind of relationship you can think of. Communication is something that cannot be overemphasized. So I just think that you need to keep trying. If it's something you want to work out, you just have to, both of you have to have that conversation. I'm not a relationship counselor, but if you try and you keep trying and you see that I've gotten to the point where I'm drained, I can't do this anymore, it's okay to just let it go. Sorry, but I hope you get past it.
Yes, I hope you get past it and have a talk with your partner and all that. This next one says, I feel stuck in my education because I lack focus and discipline to finish my degree. I often get distracted by other commitments. Abdul from Kano. Abdul, it's quite sad.
It's especially, I said this before last year, I think I said this on the show. When something is online for me, I'm stuck. I have a couple of programs that I started last year, some trainings, and because it's normally to take about 4 weeks, but I'm on like 10 weeks now, and I've not been able to finish it. Not because I don't want to, but the fact that it is online doesn't really give me that motivation. I'd rather, okay, I'm present somewhere doing this. That way I'm more disciplined. But online, I could just read one module, and after reading one module, I get a notification or something. Even if I don't use my phone, I decide to use my tab, I start feeling sleepy. So that is also doing things virtually. I don't know if there's anything like being stuck in that aspect, but I would say that I'm stuck on that. Virtual, it's not really my thing. But let's see Rita. Rita from Enugu says, I'm stuck with my fitness goals because I constantly struggle to keep up with a regular workout routine. Time management is my biggest challenge. Rita, I feel you. Just, find if it's weekends that work for you, You don't have to do it at anybody's on anybody's time. You have to do it at your own pace. So find the time that works. So if it's weekend, if it's 1 hour in the evenings that work for you, do what you can there. Don't beat yourself up.
I like this next one. It says, I'm stuck in my creative process because I often second guess my work and fear rejection, which stops me from producing consistently. My namesake.
Your namesake. Right.
Island. I can relate with that too. I can relate with how, you know, sometimes you get stuck. As creative, there's what you call the writer's block.
I was even going to say creative block. Some people call it creative block. Some call it the writer's block.
Yes.
You know, that part where it feels like no idea is coming.
No idea is coming, nothing.
You want to do stuff, but it's not flowing. And you're asking yourself, am I okay? Is something wrong? Am I losing my talent? Am I losing my skill? And you keep trying. But I told a friend a couple while ago that I had this writer's or creative block. I said, maybe you just need to take a break. Just take a break. Do something different. Do something fun. Just relax, and just maybe it would come back. And eventually it would come back. From doing something different, you just get an idea that comes up and you're like, oh wow, I wouldn't have naturally thought about this. Maybe you should just take a break for a little while.
Yeah, you can watch movies, listen to music, so many things.
Go out, hang out with trusted friends. Yeah, I intentionally put the word trusted there. Hang out with trusted friends. Let your head down. Have fun. Forget about your creative crisis. Trust me, by the time you let it off and you come back, you feel a little relieved. But Chinonso from Umaya has something different to say. I feel stuck in my social life because I struggle with making meaningful connections, and my introversion makes it hard to step out. If you ask me, I will say that most people these days have become introverts, whether by naturalization or by force. Because tell me why I would rather not be anywhere else than on my bed. You know, sometimes I get a couple people reach out to me. Oh, in fact, Olumide still reached out to me on Sunday. Oh, this is happening. I wasn't doing anything, but I said, I'll pass. Because I just feel like adulthood and everything that is going on is overwhelming. So that's where there's an irony. Now, we admonish people to go out, have fun, do something exciting. At the same time, we'd rather just be by ourselves. So you have to intentionally decide, you know, to do certain things. Sometimes just call a friend, what's up, are you free, let's just go out. It might not be a big deal. Just find a restaurant somewhere, buy what you can afford. If it's snacks and drink or ice cream, take it and feel good.
You know, I have a friend who once called me and accused me that you are not a good friend, that every time I call you, let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that, you will tell me, okay, no problem, I won't see you again. I was like, I'm sorry.
I realized recently that one of the things that gives me joy is when I'm supposed to go out and the person I'm supposed to go out with just calls that, what's up? Oh? No, I'm not talking about now official outings. Like, and the person just called that, what's up? Something came up, I can't make it again. I hope you're not angry. Angry. You have saved me. The fact that I have to look for outfits. The fact that I have to step out of my house, I'll either have to drive or do a ride. You have saved me a lot. So why would I be angry? I am not angry. Take all the time that you need. But sometimes as well, I initiate hangouts. Very little hangout. What's up? Let's just go here. Let's just chill. Just to take off the stress. It helps.
This next one says, I'm stuck in my business growth because I have difficulty delegating tasks and trusting others to handle things effectively. Bola from Akure. I understand that fact that sometimes, you know, people just like to do things themselves. I also like that. So I always like to do things myself, and having to trust someone to get something done the way you want it to sometimes take a whole lot.
Yeah, I get that, but it's always important to, so that you don't break down, especially if you manage something quite large. You can't do everything by yourself, and you can't remember everything. So, excuse me. One of the things I tell people is try to find out if you have a team and you need to delegate tasks, try to find out each person's strength so you know. Now, they might not do it as effortlessly or as smooth as you would do it. And the funny thing is you might not even do it smooth yourself. But just try to understand each person's strength and say, okay, I can delegate this to this person. And I know that even though it might not be as fantastic as I want it to be, the person will still give me something good. I can delegate this to that way. You are also saving yourself stress, pressure. You can't do everything on your own, no matter how hard you try. You have to, you know, have people assist you. So you need to learn that. Right, Kemi from Abuja says, I'm stuck in my job because I'm not getting any promotions. Oh, I can imagine. And I'm unsure about how to navigate corporate politics to move ahead. This is a very dicey situation. This is a very dicey situation. Imagine being in a place and you're stuck there on the same level for 3 years, 4 years, while you're also developing yourself, taking courses, but you're still stuck in a spot. And they say, oh, to go up, you have to know how to play the game of politics. And politics can be dirty. It can come in different forms. So it is very dicey, Kemi. I don't know how to advise, but I don't know how to advise right now. I would definitely get how to advise, but maybe you saw coming because it's a very dicey situation. It requires a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, I know my mom told me in the institution where she worked, if you are very good at something, they'll keep you there. They'll keep you there because they know that if you leave, that particular department might suffer. So that's in our own where she worked. So
if you're very good at something, they keep you there. Okay, I'm good. I'm trying to look for the perfect.
Maybe in reporting, documentation, and all that.
Okay, but I should be promoted. I should not be a junior staff trot because I'm good at that thing. There should be increase in my remuneration. There should be some benefits. Okay, you want me to manage this department? Don't worry, I'm good at it. Okay, I can manage. You don't want to move me to another department, no problem. But I should see growth. I should not be on that same level for 6 years. Why? Doesn't work that way.
This next one says, I'm stuck in my writing career because I keep doubting my abilities, which causes writer's block. Fear of failure constantly holds me back. Jide from Ibadan. I really can relate with this writer's block thing. It has happened to me so many times, and I felt that, man, am I losing it? Is that the end? And all that. And I just take a break. I come back and it just comes back, and it's always very amazing. It's always funny how this thing happens, and there's this fear of maybe it has finally gone. Maybe I don't have it anymore.
Another thing aside taking a break is I always advise you talk to a fellow creative, like minds like you. So don't feel like I don't want to talk to anybody. You're a writer, you have writer's block, you're a song producer, a music producer, or whatever. It's okay to find someone that's in that field as well. You can talk to, okay, this was happening, or this, and without taking a break, you might actually feel better and get ideas. But Grace, okay.
Yeah, what you can also do is watch videos on that particular area. So if, for instance, a writer, watch videos about writers. You might pick 1 or 2 things from their own experiences too and learn from it. Right,
absolutely. Grace from Ilorin has a different perspective. This has to be my spiritual growth, because I struggle to stay consistent in my practices and get distracted by life's demand. Trust me, if you're not intentional, this aspect of your life will just fade off. It would imagine you have to leave your house every day at 4 a.m. and you don't return till 11 p.m. You might not have time to develop your spiritual life. So it takes you to map out. It could be when you're in transit, just say a word of prayer. At your desk, you can listen to audio messages.
Yes.
Just find the time. It might be as little as 2 minutes. Just make sure you have that little minutes that you take out for that aspect of your life.
This next one is quite interesting. I'm stuck in my networking because I find it hard to approach people and form meaningful professional connections. Samuel from Jos. This is quite interesting because some people have that gift of being able to sell themselves. They can walk into a room and they just catch the attention of everyone else. And when they start talking, people just keep quiet and listen. While some have to be introduced into that place, that arena, that, okay, this is this person, this is what he does, and, you know, they've given you that push. Some people are just like that.
Yeah. Chinwe from Oka, I feel stuck with my time management, and I always end up feeling overwhelmed by how many things I have to do at once. Create a schedule, plan your time, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is what I want to do. 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. rather, this is what I want to do. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or whatever. Just make sure that you find a way to map out a workable schedule. Now, fun fact or the truth is it might not actually work that way, but give it a try first and see how far you can go with it.
This one's quite interesting from Fola. He says, I feel stuck in my career path because I'm unsure about switching industries and fear of the unknown holds me back. This is Fola from Mowe. This is quite interesting. I mean, you have to take risk. That's just the truth about life. If you want any improvement, you just have to take risk.
We go very quickly. Tunde from Akure says, I'm stuck with my mental health. Stress from work and family has been overwhelming, and I don't know how to manage it better. Tunde, I can absolutely understand you. Give yourself a break. For yourself, not for anyone else.
This one says, I feel stuck in my academic performance because I procrastinate a lot and let distractions get in the way of my focus. Oluwaseun from Oyo.
You procrastinate. I hope it's not that when you have a test or assignment, you need to, when it comes to academics, especially if it's your first degree,
yes,
you need to learn to discipline yourself and focus on the goal. Trust me, a lot of other things can come afterwards, but that should be the priority. We have Michael. Michael from Warri says, I feel stuck in my financial independence because I haven't been able to diversify my income streams, and fear of failure keeps me from taking risk. Like Olumide said, this life is all about taking risk. You might take some risk that would be a big risk that would, you know, affect you, and you might not see returns on it. That's the truth. But be calculative when taking risk. Use your head, use your sense when you're doing that.
This next one says, I feel stuck with my emotional well-being. I have been able to process past experiences and it often affects my present relationship. Patience from Benin City. I think this has to do with trust. Being able to trust someone because of past experiences, you always feel that the next person will want to do the same thing. Just like we are saying again, you just have to take that leap of faith. Not this time around, not risk, but a leap of faith, and just have to do that. But I think it's as much as you can take on views from the net. Stick around. It's still the Breakfast Cafe. We'll be back in a moment.
Game save. Game save. Game save.
Welcome back. If you're just joining in, this is the Breakfast Cafe. Sarah and I, Olumide, are still here. And this is where we discuss topical issues. Now, the topic for today is good governance in Nigeria. We can't stop talking about good governance. How citizens can demand more. Before our guests come in, let me give you a bit of a backstory about what actually is good governance. Something that we talk about, good governance. Everybody wants good governance. Everybody wants a situation whereby your children are assured of a better future. Nobody wants to leave the country for greener pastures. Everybody believes that, we should actually be able to live in Nigeria without fear of the unknown. So what is good governance? Now, good governance in Nigeria is essential for national development. No doubt about that. And citizens play a crucial role in holding leaders accountable. Over the years, Nigerians have shown their desire for transparency and responsible leadership through various means, including civic engagement and advocacy for better governance. Now, as we enter a new year, citizens can do better by embracing civic education to fully understand their rights and responsibilities. Participating actively in elections by registering to vote and making informed decisions is a key step towards ensuring complete leadership. Also, engaging with community dialogue, civil society organizations, and media platforms provide opportunities to monitor government activities and promote accountability. Citizens should also make use of legal channels, yes, such as freedom of information requests, to demand transparency and ensure projects and policies benefit the public. Now, about collaborating with relevant stakeholders and maintaining consistent, non-confrontational advocacy, Nigerians can drive the positive change necessary for a more prosperous future. So basically what we're talking about is Nigerians getting involved in this governance. And one of the things I must applaud Nigerians for right now is you can't bamboozle anybody right now. Politicians can't actually lie to the people anymore. Gone were the days when... So? Yes. Fine.
You feel so?
I'm getting somewhere. Hold on. I'm getting somewhere. No, gone were the days whereby politicians come and tell you, oh, we're going to do this, and people just feel, oh.
Did that happen in 2023? So did people not know this before 2023?
Yes.
Did people still not fall for this while gearing towards the 2023 elections?
Yes.
So I don't think I don't think we can say, oh, no politician can come and bamboozle Nigerians anymore. The problem I see is that most times we are angry. Oh, this is not what you promised us. Things are hard. We want this, we want that, and just a little
bag of
rice here. Which bag of rice? You are going far. But you are going far, like
Derika.
2 or 3 derika of rice with like 5,000 naira. The narrative changes. You see this person, is the one for us. Is the one to take us there. Is the one, in fact, you start fighting your brother, your neighbor, your sister, your pastor, everybody that is related to you, if they hold a different
that demography
view.
That you're talking about is different. We're talking about, I wouldn't want to say the
elites, the learned.
The learned, you can't do that with the learned. You can't do that with the elites. You can't give the elite bag of rice or derika and one bottle of something.
With the current situation in the country, are you actually putting that factor
I'm talking about
into
below
consideration
average.
with the current situation in the country, whereby someone that is an elite in code doesn't have a job, and you come with certain promises for the person, and the person is looking at it that I don't even have a job. I went to school. Clinical is bad. If I take this, it will benefit me at the end of the day. Do you think? Let's be real.
But someone who is educated should know that this is just for a while.
That is where the level of the hardship and the bad state of governance and the economy has pushed us to, whereby it feels like we've lost our values and we would just accept anything because of the present situation. But we have our guest in person of Femi Adeyeye. He is a political activist joining us this morning virtually. Thank you for joining us today, Femi. Out is for us to have good governance. Citizens also have a huge role to play. Now, we'd like to ask, when we talk about citizens here, we're looking at the context of Nigerians. How can Nigerians, build a stronger culture of political accountability, even beyond the electioneering period, to ensure we have good governance?
All right, thank you very much for the question. I think the first port of call would be us analyzing or, looking carefully at the word citizen itself. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So when you say people are citizens, it means that they have some kind of attachment with their country. You understand? The country also loves them, and the country also understands them. But Nigeria is still battling with a lot of, questions, nuances around that definition, citizenship. We've first of all asked ourselves, how much does the country even love us? How much does the country even understand us? Who are the citizens of Nigeria? As far back as 1948, the founders of Nigeria, Obafemi Awolowo and the likes, described Nigeria as a geographical expression. This is not me. I'm talking about the people who sat down, who were part of the independence struggle and all of that. They said there are no Nigerians. I'm trying to paraphrase Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who said there are no Nigerians just the same way you have the Welsh, the French, the Britain. There are just people who are confined within a geographical expression just to be part of the map. So, and if you look at what's happening to us these days, you cannot in totality say, yes, these are citizens in the right sense. I've started like that so that we can understand that it is only citizens that can demand accountability. It is only citizens that can demand good governance, and not people who are seen as servants, who are seen as slaves in their own country. The Nigerian government does not see you, even you, as citizens. And the littlest time you even try to exercise some of your rights as citizens, they shut you up, they shut you down. I give an example when I was speaking at a particular symposium, when I said, if you're talking about citizenship, what happened at Lekki would never happen. I mean, I'm talking about the NSAS, Lekki massacre. You cannot shoot at citizens. The only people you shoot at are slaves who are trying to escape the slave plantation. That is the kind of, so the ideology in the head of many of the Nigerian rulers is that they don't see many of us, are citizens. The only people who are citizens are those in the ruling class, in the elite class, in their class. And those are the ones who can demand. And when those ones demand, they sort them out. And whenever you see small fights around them that they just want to pick up, it is because these citizens are trying to fight for their own rights. But for the rest of us, we have been shut out of the confines, the definition of what it means to be a citizen. But to answer your question, idealistically, to say, okay, in an ideal state that we are citizens, right? It is to say that Nigerians have a role to play. Yes, I understand. The leadership, we have a leadership crisis. There's a leadership problem in this country. You don't need to go to Harvard University to understand it. You just need to step out of your door, and you will always find leadership crisis. But then the followers, we have a lot of role to play, and that role is to understand that democracy ensures and gives us some rights, which is that we need to speak up when there are issues. You need to speak up. You need to organize ourselves. To demand what belongs to us, and not just leave these politicians, after elections, because that is what we do so well in Nigeria. Democracy for us is just to, vote in an election. And when you're done, everybody goes back to sleep. Nobody's protesting. Nobody's raising issue. Nobody's petitioning anybody. And they do what they do. And after 4 years, we say, this is what Nigerians would say. We'll wait for you. After 4 years, we'll see. You will come back to us. Right. So within that 4 years, what are you doing? Do you understand?
Let me interrupt you for a bit. You said something now that we need to rise up and not just leave these politicians to do whatever it is that they want to do, meaning we have to speak with one voice. But I am very concerned about that. I thank you for the fact that you're able to give a broad analysis of what it takes to actually be a citizen and how we cannot actually be classified as citizens going by what is happening in the country. Right. So how then can we speak with one voice when even when we come together to agree on a peaceful protest, we have people that are supposed to be citizens as well come to protest against the protesters? Yeah. So it feels like we are waging war against ourselves. We don't even have one voice as Nigerians. So what can we do to even achieve that one voice, that togetherness, before we can even face these politicians?
All right. So the one you said, there are some protesters coming to protest against the protest. That one is the hand of Esau, the voice of Jacob. We know those who are in charge of running that kind of show, and it is the government. So it is this, and it is not a matter we just need to shove aside. It's a very serious matter.
Yeah.
The government has weaponized poverty. They've weaponized poverty. The same weapon is the weapon they use during elections, where people go to even vote against themselves. You know, the president tells you that he's going to remove subsidy. It tells you that it's going to slow down the economy. It told you that it was going to reduce the purchasing power of Nigerians, and people went to vote. It's not as if they voted. They voted against their conscience because poverty was weaponized. For 5,000 naira, for 10,000 naira, they would vote. The same thing happens during protests, where people go to protest against their own rights because they don't know. Poverty has been weaponized against them. And this dates back to even the slave era, where you have some slaves within, you know, I'm using this slave thing so that you can understand citizenship and slavery, because we are still at that slavery stage of whatever you want to call citizenship in Nigeria. There used to be some slaves that will be they call them the courtyard slaves. And there are slaves that will be at the plantation. So those who are in the courts will think that they have better privilege. They feel that they are better than the other slave that is in the plantation. And it is a divide and rule tactics of the slave master, so that they start feeling that they are more important than the other. That is those who protest against the protest. That's how they feel, because they get some kind of patronage within government. They can look at what happened during NSAS. These people you're talking about who protest against the other protesters, they were brought to protest venues in SUVs. Yes, we saw it. In SUVs, they were guarded by security operatives in this country, DSS to be particular. Those in Lagos were brought with lag buses, air-conditioned buses. So it shows you that they are actually weaponizing poverty. And what we can do is to continue to do this, education that we do, to even make some of them understand that you are part of us. The fact that you are a courtyard slave does not take you away from the plantation. It does not take away the slave mantra that is over your head. Until we understand this, that is when we can speak in one voice. I won't lie to you, it's going to be a very tough job. It's going to be a very tough, work of education. It's very possible that we educate the masses of our people to be on the side, and we can all speak with one voice.
All right, thank you very much. I like this, the last statement you made, speaking with one voice. Now, if you look back, one of the tools or mechanism politicians that used against the people was division, trying to divide the people. In the last election, there were so many ethnic division that brought about so many phrases and all that. Lagos is no man's land, this, that. Even recently, in a particular state, I think, which you must be familiar, you should be familiar with this scenario, whereby there's a political aspirant whose wife is Igbo, and I think there were allegations that his children were also given Igbo names, and people of that state came out to attack him that he's not a true Yoruba person, he's not this, he's not that. These are some of the ways that politicians try and divide the people. So my question now is, how can we ourselves unite us? Because for us to call for good governance, we have to speak with one voice, not with different voices. How can we unite ourselves beyond religion, beyond ethnicity?
Yes, it is when just the same way I said they weaponized poverty, they've also weaponized this bigotry. And to be very sincere, this thing went from, if it was on 20% before, it went to 100 during the last election. They brought the full, armory of ethnic bigotry just out there to, to fight the people. You see, whenever politicians they've lost out of popular opinion or popular acceptance, they then resort to this ethnic division. Tell them he's not look at Gbadebo in Lagos. He said the guy is not Yoruba enough. And the person saying he's not Yoruba enough actually is from one very funny village way far from Lagos that you cannot even put in you can't even place as of now. You see, so that is what they enjoy doing. But our role is to understand that we need to educate our people. See, I cannot overemphasize this education thing, and I think that is what we're doing this morning, so that more people who listen to this would understand that the people who are stealing from Nigeria, the people who are benefiting from the plumage, who are benefiting from the exploitation, they are not divided. Money does not understand Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. Money understand, for them, it is stealing. And when they come together to steal, they are not divisions around, I am Igbo, I am Hausa. The only time you can see any fight at the National Assembly is when there is a problem in the sharing formula. These people don't understand I'm Hausa, I'm Igbo, no. They just go for the treasury. Do you get? So why then do we, who should ask for our rights, who should demand accountability, why then are we divided across these infantile and asinine lines? For me, I feel it is not. It is a very serious work that even the media has a lot of role to play to make us understand all of these things. You would also think that the National Orientation Agency, that one would think should come into this with a very strong campaign to talk about. They are not doing anything. In fact, aside the website of the NOA that is also outdated, I don't know what exactly that agency is doing.
We still spoke about the NOA few minutes ago during the newspaper review.
Interesting.
But because
I'm in spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've exhausted our time on this segment. But I would like to quickly ask you one question in 1 minute, just 1 minute. Now, with the new year beginning, today is the 8th already. What practical and immediate action should Nigerians take to ensure that the promises of leaders translate into measurable impact on governance? If you can answer that in less than 1 minute, I'll be grateful.
All right. So it's because, first of all, it's for citizens to even understand what the problems are, to understand where we are presently, to understand that the policies of this government are not going to take us to where we are going to. They said Sunday that would be nice. It is from Saturday you would know. This policy direction of the Tinubu regime is not taking us anywhere. And it's for all of us to first of all accept that. We still have people who are still feeling that, maybe tomorrow there will be lights at the end of the tunnel. There's no lights at the end of this tunnel. What I'm saying is an oncoming train that can crash all of us if we do not come together and speak with one voice and demand accountability in different forms, through petitions, through attending public hearings. There are so many bills at the National Assembly now that needs to be trashed, and through protests. Yes, we cannot throw out the efficacy of marching on the streets.
Right.
Thank you.
We hope that all of these things, oneness, unity, togetherness, speaking with one voice, we sincerely desire that so we can get the change that we require. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Femi Adeyeye. It's been an absolute delight speaking with you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Coming together. You know that thing of people even fighting their siblings. I saw people fight their siblings because you don't believe in my candidate. Your choice is your choice, right? But you don't now, because you have been bought or you sold out your conscience, now try to push what is not right on me because I'm not buying the fact that you have been bought. So we need to get to that point where we are fighting a common goal. And like he stated, poverty has been weaponized, and that is a big problem. And if we don't do the right thing, it will continue for a long time. And these people, politicians, those at the end of affairs, will continue to use poverty as a tool to keep us in a box.
Well said. Well, this is as much as we can take, so we'll go on a short break. And when we come back, we'll take trending stories. Please stay tuned.
trafficking, syndicate rescue of victims. I have the following suspect: Pastor Dayo Bernard, male; Rita Agueze, female; Victoria Ugu, female; Namman Puntel, female; Peter Unkwani, male. Can we have all of them out? Where you staple this thing for me? This is the wrong staple. These buggers. This case is so pathetic that young children are being traded with by certain individuals. We have on 2nd December 2024, operatives of IRT carried out an intelligence-led operation resulting in the arrest of a syndicate of child traffickers operating in Plateau State and its environs. The operation led to the rescue of 5 children between the ages of 2 to 4, abducted from Jos.
Welcome back. That was the first PPRO, Muiwa Adejobi, making a statement, and also it's a press conference disclosing and revealing some of the roadside kidnappers who disguise as roadside evangelists, kidnapping children and selling them for as much as or as low as 350,000 to 750,000 naira. They were caught, I think, around Plateau, Jos, and it's quite sad, and of course kudos to the police. They're doing a good job. More grease to their elbow, if I would say.
They should not rest on this victory, and it's interesting to know that they were able to rescue about 5 children.
Yes.
But we don't know how many other children they have done these things to, and it's concerning because they are disguising as roadside evangelists, and we know that we run a country, or in a country where people hold religion in high esteem. People respect religion, whatever religion it is. People respect it. We're a religious country, if we're going to say the truth. So when you now find that you cannot even trust certain persons, imagine according to the police force PRO, 2 to 4-year-old children were rescued. How they abducted them, was it through were they with their parents, or were they on their own? Were they trying to preach to them? I can't wrap my head around it, and they had to go in, guys. They had to wear the garment of religion. To perform this terrible act. I sincerely hope that they get the judgment that is accrued to them, and they are able to, because they say these kind of people don't walk alone, they have links.
Yes.
And the police is able to get through their links, sponsors, people that they have kidnapped over the time, who they sell the children to should also, whether it's in Nigeria or out of Nigeria. This is an investigation that is broad. It should not just end at arresting them and recovering the children, the 5 children, and that's all. It's very sad. It's very disturbing. That's why these days people are walking on the road. If you even want to give me flyer, I will not collect it. Because there is no point. Because things are very, very. You cannot trust anybody right now. That's the truth. But I think we have one comment. So let's see. Okay, we have some comments. This is DJ Cones. My brother's 2-year-old son is still missing since November in 2023. This is over 1 year, and it's very sad. We're so sorry about this. We hope that your brother's child is found in one piece. It says God with the sad emoji, crying emoji. No one to trust again. Absolutely no one. Real Isabel Black, God have mercy. Now, wow. Bada of Lagos says, Omo, and they're going to do like preachers for road. See their innocent faces. Real King DT, as when I don't arrest the kidnappers, try to find the buyers. Also very, very important. Because they are selling them to somebody. So we need to get the people that just said, what are they using them for? Are they selling out their parts? Are they selling them to as slaves? Are they running a baby factory or a child factory? This is a proper investigation. And I saw some other comments on this video, which we don't have here, where someone was saying that, what was it in Osun State, where someone was freed for stealing chicken?
Yes.
And they were like, these kind of people now, they need to face hard judgment, not somebody that is stealing chicken. That doesn't encourage stealing by the way. But what we're trying to say is people like this should not even... There should not be any conversation around one bill has been... Until we get to the root of it, every one of them should face the punishment.
This thought just brought me back to Reverend King. I don't know what has happened to that
investigation. That conversation has been years now. I think I was still very little. I was still a little, right? When that conversation was going on, and the head, the tail. There was a time they said he was in custody.
There's a time he even sued the police for bad maltreatment and all that. I mean, it's a whole lot. But just like Sarah said, we hope that this would open a broader investigation to reveal the sponsors, the kingpins, the godfathers, whoever involved in this big, I might say, a cartel of crime and all that. But this is as much as we can take. We'll go on a short break, and while we're at it, we'll take the weather forecast. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. It takes a whole community to get the show up and running and successful. That's why we are always grateful to everybody, beginning from the technical crew, the directors, producers, and even to our guests, all our guests, and of course the bigger thanks to you watching. If you enjoyed the show, let's do this again tomorrow. Same time, same station. I am Olumide Shokoya. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And don't forget to follow us across all of our social media platforms at High Impact Studios and High Impact TV. I am Sarah Osuansa, and until I grace your screens again, have a lovely day ahead. Bye-bye.
Something big is in town. Something powerful and majestic. A mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet, Nigeria's biggest family theme park with facilities designed for friends, families, or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart-racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart